Listen, I was just at Sherm. I
Oof.
thought
Wait,
overall,
where?
I was at Sherm, and listen, I didn't attend. I was with my sponsor Fountain all day. I was doing my podcast there, and I didn't know what was happening. But apparently, there was a lot happening, and there was a lot more happening when we got back. So apparently, not apparently, it happened. Sherm decided to drop the E, which is equity, from their DE and I, which is a
Equity.
real D move. But let's get to the real question here. I don't know if people know this. Did he know? Did he get the inside intel? Did his
Dude.
PR team said, Ted
He knew.
Lasso, no, don't do it. Say no to
Oh!
Sherm.
Oh
Listen,
my God.
Sudeikis. Listen, Sudeikis. Listen. Ted Lasso has a chance to make the best offer of all time. Put your E back, and you get ME back for Sherm next year, and let's do this. Let's get Jason Sudeikis back. Wait a minute.
Did he know?
Did he know? Did he know? Danielle, do you think he?
I think he knew.
Oh,
Like
he doesn't know.
I think his PR team is too good because he's such a good guy. Like in the media, like he has a great image. There's no way he didn't know.
They definitely did their digging and due diligence, and they're like, wait a minute, we just uncovered some shiat, and we don't need Ted Lasso stepping in some shiat and ruining his image.
Word.
But good thing you've got lots of content from Sherm.
Yeah, I did. We're gonna, but we're not focusing on the Sherm content itself. We're
Oh, yeah,
focusing
yeah.
all the amazing guests that we had on the podcast, and thanks to our amazing sponsor, Fountain. So that's all great content, and we're talking about amazing things that are happening in the HR and TU world. But Joel, what news is on your radar?
Man, look, if you guys didn't hear, this is incredibly important, but Lattice announced that they were going to add in their software. They're going to make it possible for AI, your AI employees to have a place. And look, before you get all crazy here, this is incredibly important, okay? Inflation is high. People are struggling. People are burned out and disengaged. And it's even more important that we focus on our AI workers right now. Because if our robots are not happy, if they are not in a place of comfort, I don't know what we have left, people. So I think this was an incredible move, which just got ripped to pieces. And I didn't even know this was a thing. Like I saw the announcement that the CEO of Lattice made, and I also read through the comments, which have now been turned off. And it's just clear that this was just a weird move to have such a focus on AI employees. So I don't know. Do you guys have you guys had this issue like AI employees suffering? Have you run into that in your prior
Every,
work situations?
every day, just feel really bad for the AI employees. I think my problem is like, why are we
Robot
equating
heart feels sad.
why are we equating AI and like humans? I think that's everyone's problem with it. Like, I think that's part of it, but also the timing. I think Lori mentioned in her article about it was right after July 4th. Everyone's inboxes were slammed.
Yeah.
Right around the time of the Sherm thing, like there was a lot going on. Like people don't want to hear this stuffs.
It's a lot. It's
Well,
timing.
look, some of the comments on here. The first one, robot workers of the world unite.
We're forming a union.
And
A
then it just
union.
gets worse and worse. And apparently, this ended up on LinkedIn Lunatics. And like LinkedIn Lunatics is not a place you want to be ever. But to make it, I mean, that's
Joel,
pretty cool.
how many times have you been on LinkedIn Lunatics?
I'm on there a decent amount. I'm also on Recruiting Hell a lot on Reddit.
Yeah.
So if you ever, you just search Joel Algy in there and you'll find
Yeah,
it.
Joel keeps his cringe factor about a 9, but it's actually a brilliant move, everybody, because it keeps him in the news feed. It's a very
Memeing it
strategic.
up.
But Danielle, let me ask you a question. Like, why are we trying to humanize the bot so much here?
We're trying to merge.
Ugh.
I read about this thing that there's this guy that I don't know, he predicts the future or something, and he said that by 2030 we're gonna merge with A or 2040 we're gonna merge with AI. So I don't know, maybe they're onto something. Maybe there's a deeper conversation here, but it's not one that we're gonna have this morning because we got to move on to the next story,
But
guys.
could you harass? Do you get in trouble if you harass an AI coworker?
Yeah.
No, like, right. What if I talk shit to that robot? Right.
Dude.
Sorry. Right. Like,
Those chatbots, they get it tougher, right?
Was that SOP video for the AI
Yeah,
coworkers?
don't
Or
touch
was it
this.
for us?
Don't touch that AI. Okay.
so this is kind of a funny one, Danielle. Like, let's talk about this. Like,
Yeah,
are
let's
Gen Z
talk about
workers
it.
always late? What's going on here?
All right. So basically, there's a new survey that said that almost half of Gen Z said that being 5 to 10 minutes late is the same as being on time.
Ooh.
So,
Okay.
begs the
Okay.
question, what does it mean to be on time? What is time? And I have like a lot of questions too. Like, the same survey found that 70% of baby boomers believe that being right on time is actually late. So you have half of Gen Z saying 5 to 10 minutes is late or on time. And then you have boomers saying that 70% of them saying that being on time is late. Like, I don't understand, what is time anyway.
Are we canceling time, Danielle?
Time is money.
Honestly, I think we should cancel time.
Then what do we have
But-
left? Bots.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm kind of stumped on it. But I had this entrepreneurship professor when I was in college who would literally play a video at the start of class. And if you arrived after the song was over, he made you sing in front of the class.
Oh man, what song was it?
It was a different song every day. So it ranged from like rap to jazz to like
And
ballad.
did that deter people from being late?
100%. I mean, I still might have sung once or twice, but
So public embarrassment is this. So if you want your Gen Z to be on time, you got to publicly humiliate
Publicly
them.
humiliate
Shame.
them.
Shame
Yep.
them. Do
Force
like a
them to
TikTok.
sing in front of everyone.
Well, I mean, if we want to keep it real for a minute here, I mean, I think it comes down to respecting other people's time. That's in my opinion, right? Like, especially as a recruiter, like if you're late for a call,
Yeah.
I give people, and I want to hear Joel's take on it too. As a recruiter, I give people about 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah.
If it's a video call, usually I'm calling somebody. If they don't pick up right away, sometimes it's going to go to a voicemail. If you don't call me back within 5 minutes, like, it's about respecting people's time. Danielle, have we lost, as a society, lost respect for other people's time?
Well, you know what? I have a few points here.
Go for it.
One, I read an article the other day that was talking about how in the age of hybrid work, which is so futuristic,
Hybrid.
punctuality is a lot more relaxed, right? Because people are showing up to work at different
Sure.
times because they feel like, they're more productive at certain hours and different locations, whatever. So if other people are lax about it, obviously Gen Z is going to follow because we're not trying to work too hard because we don't get paid enough.
Wah, wah.
But I also don't think most meetings, like, A, need to be meetings, and B, start on time anyways, especially if Adam is in charge of setting up the tech needed for that meeting. So,
Ooh, it's true.
What?
Look, I think with this one, I think I remember like when I graduated school in 2011, my
Jeez.
my college guide or whoever it is was like, you got to show up to job interviews like 15 minutes early, right? Like, you got to show up early, and if you show up any later than that, then you're actually late even if you're early. Which I was like, man, that doesn't really make any sense. So some of this is just kind of common sense, and like I agree with it a lot. I just think in general, it kind of comes down to that same issue around flexibility, letting people kind of operate the way they want to and still get results. For me, if the results are there, I do not care about any of this. I don't care if you're working from 5 states over. I don't care if you're late every day. If you're getting the results, that's all that should matter. And hopefully this is something which kind of stays within the work culture, and I'm all for it.
All
yeah.
for
I mean,
it.
I did put out a poll, which is the last thing I'll say about this, and about 145 people responded. What is the definition of on time? Was my
Oh.
question.
Okay.
30% of people said early. 63% majority said within 5 minutes of the set time is on time. And 4% said 45 minutes late is still on time.
Jeez.
And then 3%
those-
were other.
Those people aren't getting a job with my companies. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Well, Adam, I think to your point, like it is like respecting other people's time. If it's a Zoom meeting, I give people 5 minutes. They're a no-show. They get the delete from me. That's because I don't really want to mess around with it. But I could see, to Danielle's point, like, you got to make those meetings matter. And I think companies, you got to give people a why nowadays. Like, it's even
Mhm.
like with coming back to the office. You can't
Agree.
just be like, hey, come back to the office. It's like, well, what is going to be different about the office and working at home. And if you carry on creating environments that are literally just work from home offices in an office, as soon as the Great Resignation 2.0 rolls around, which it's going to happen
He's
at
talking
some
about the
point,
Great Resignation. All
you
right.
know, then it's going to go, you know?